Good day everyone. Welcome again to my subject Practical Research 2, and today we will be discussing about the classification of variables. Again, this is Sir Raymond Natural, your teacher for the day. Now let's talk about the objective of the topic. First, we will be determine the classification of the variables, and we will differentiate the classification of the variables. Variables, it is any factor or a property that a researchers measures, controls, and or manipulates. It is also the changing quantity or measure of any factor, traits, or conditions that can exist differing amounts or types. It is also a logical set of attributes, characteristics, numbers, or quantities that can be measured or counted. Always take note that variables, it is a property or it is a factor that we can as a researcher measure or it could be counted. Ito yung pwede nating mabilang at pwede nating ma-measure bilang mga researcher at pwede din natin itong ma-control. Pwede rin natin itong ma-manipulate along the way in our research during the implementation of our research. That is the classification of variables. So, it is also called as a data item. So, another term for variables, ito yung mga data items, no? And first, we will be talking about the numerical variable. It is one classification of a variable. We have two different types of numeric variables. We have the continuous variables and the discrete variables. So, numeric variables, it is a variables with values that describe a measurable numerical quantity and answer the questions how many or how much. Numeric, from the word itself numeric, ito yung mga variables na pwede nating bilangin, no? Pwede nating mabilang kung ilan at magkano, no? So yan yung numerical variables. So very easy. And the continuous variable. Continuous variables, ito yung variable na which variable can assume any value between a certain set of real numbers, no? Variables can assume any value, no? Any value between a certain set of real numbers. Values depend on the scale used. It is also called as an interval variables. Pwedeng tawagin natin itong interval variables, ang continuous variables. No? Example nito ay time, age, temperature, height, and weight. So continuous ho yan lahat. No? So another is the categorical variable. Categorical variable, meron tayong apat. The ordinal variables, nominal variables, dichotomous variables, polycotomous variables. First, ordinal variables. Ordinal variables are the variables that can take a value which can be logically ordered or ranked. In-ordered po siya. Nakarank po siya. So, example nito ay academic grades. So, our academic grades is rank A, B, and C. So, A is rated 90 to in senior high school, we're using the high honor, highest honor, and with honor. So, it is an academic grades. So, it is called as ordinal variables. Pwede ring clothing size, the extra large, large, medium, and small. Pwedeng measures of attitude like strongly agree, disagree, or strongly disagree. That is an ordinal variables. Always take note that if we could able to say na logically ordered siya and rank, ang tawag natin dyan is ordinal variables. And nominal variables. Nominal variables, variables whose values cannot be organized in logical sequence. Hindi siya na-organize through logical sequence. Example, business types. So, hindi siya naka-organize. Na eye colors, hindi rin organize. Kinds of religion, varies of language, types of learners. So, nominal variable siya. And, dichotomous variables. Ang dichotomous variables, ito yung variables represents only two categories. May dalawang categories lang. Ang example nito is gender. Male and female, the answers yes or no, and the veracity of true or false. So, yun lang siya. Dalawa lang pagpipilian mo. No? That is dichotomous variable. And the polycotomous variable or polycotomous variables, ito yung variable that have many categories. Ito yung maraming kategorya. Example nito, educational attainment. Educational attainment from elementary, high school, college, graduate school, and postgraduate. Then, level of performance. The excellent, very good, good, satisfactory, or poor. And ang third is the experimental variables. In experimental variables, meron tayong tatlo. The independent variable, the dependent variables, the extraneous variables. First, independent variables. So, independent variables are usually manipulated in an experiment. So, ito yung palaging na manipula in our research or in our experiment. It is also called as, always take note, the other term for independent variable which is manipulated, no? Or the explanatory or the poor. So, yan yung independent. So, ito yung pwede nating ma-change, si independent, no? Ang dependent variables are used affected by the manipulation of the dependent variables. Ang dependent, ito yung magdedepende doon sa ating independent, no? So, ito yung unang variable na pwedeng maapektuhan with regards noong mag-iiba or magmamanipulate tayo doon sa independent variables. It is also called as the response or the predicted variables. Ito yung mga response, no? Yung maging result, ang dependent. Ang extraneous variables are already existing during the conduct of the experiment and conduct of an experiment and could influence the result of the study. It is also called as the mediating or intervening variables. Are known also as the covariate variables. So, example ng extraneous variables, ganito siya. For example, the title of the research is Use of Gardening Tools and Types of Fertilizer, Their Effects on the Amount of Harvest. The independent variables there is use of gardening tools, type of fertilizers. And the dependent variables are the amount of harvest, no? So, magdidepende ang amount ng harvest doon sa ginamit na gardening tools and the type of fertilizer. And the intervening variables there is the humidity level or types of seeds and plants. So, that is the intervening variables. So, another one. Non-experimental variables. Number 4. So, meron din tayong dalawa. The predictor variables, the criterion variables. Predictor variables, ito yung variables that change the other variables in a non-experimental study. Ang criterion variables naman, variables are usually influenced by the predictor variables. Ang example ng criterion variables, example, the title is Competencies of Teachers and Students' Behavior in Selected Private School. Ang predictor natin, ano gani yung predictor? The predictor is a variable change the other variable in an non-experimental study. Ito yung nag-change sa ibang variables. Ang criteria naman, variables are usually influenced by the predictor. Nag-i-influensya lang siya doon sa predictor, no? So, the predictor there is the competencies of teachers and the criterion is the students' behavior. So, ayun siya. Another example, conduct of guidance counseling program and degree of absenteeism and dropout rate among grade 8 classes. Ang predictor variable niya, si predictor niya is the conduct of the guidance counseling program. And ang magiging criterion niya is ang degree of absenteeism and dropout rate. So, the types of facilities administrators profile and parent support towards school effectiveness among public senior high schools. Now, the predictor niya is types of facilities administrators profile and parent supports towards, and the criterion is the school effectiveness. So, fourth, the variables according to the number being studied. Univariate, meron tayong bivariate study and the polyvariate study. First univariate study. It consists only one variable in being studied. Isa lang ang variable. Yan yung univariate. Ang bivariate study, ito yung dalawang variable ang ginamit. And ang polyvariate study, ito yung more than two variables are being studied. So, thank you very much everyone, and do not hesitate to ask questions. Kung may mga katanungan kayo, huwag kayong atubiling mag-post ng inyong mga comments below sa ating comment section. And do not also forget to click the subscribe, and kung may mga tanong kayo, huwag kayong mag-alala. Hanapan natin ang way na masasagot natin yan. So, thank you very much. God bless everyone and good day.